Okay, so this is the day 23 review. Today is Labor Day, Monday. Yeah, Monday. And we started in Coeur d'Alene, right over near the border of Washington. And we hopped on I-90 this morning, about 10-ish, 30-ish. We're slow moving again. Place we stayed last night, the Best Western there in Coeur d'Alene, was a really nice place. Filled up with a bunch of firemen, forest firemen. But good breakfast. I mean, one of the best breakfasts if you like a good breakfast. I mean, they even had a lady standing there doing custom omelets and stuff. I mean, it was just really fancy. Anyway, bugged out of town on I-90, which if you've ever taken I-90 out of Coeur d'Alene and goes back out through the mountains, and it's a lot of fun. I think the speed limit was 65, maybe 70 in some places. Big, fast downhill sweepers and uphill sweepers, and just a lot of fun until you get to the one-lane construction zone. Then it's just 55 miles an hour for a while. Ran that until we got, I can't remember the name of the town. Anyway, there's an exit for the Coeur d'Alene River, and there's the Coeur d'Alene River Road. So we hopped on that, and that goes up into the mountains and eventually goes over Thompson Pass. I had no idea if this was dirt, paved, what. Last night about 8 o'clock, a storm came through, dumped a lot of rain, and I didn't know if we were going to be getting into mud or, what was going to happen. So the idea was we would just go find out. Because once you get into pretty far north Idaho, there aren't a whole lot of roads to pick from. And a lot of them don't even go over the mountains, and the ones that do go over the mountains can be pretty rough. So I really didn't want to get into any of that, especially if it was wet. So I figured we'd just ride out there, and if it got nasty, we'd turn around, go back to I-90, and just work our way to the next highway and then start heading north again. Turned out it was paved. Beautiful, beautiful road. All the RVers were bugging out, since it's the end of the weekend. So the outbound traffic flowing out of the mountains towards the freeway was pretty steady and heavy. RV people. Tons of campgrounds back in there along the river that were just really, really pretty, really beautiful area. The cloud base was below the tops of the mountains. So, it was clear under the clouds. It wasn't raining. It was chilly, in the mid-50s, I think. And then when we got to the start of Thompson Pass itself, we actually turned off the Coeur d'Alene River Road. And that was, again, a really nice, well-paved road. I mean, like a major highway. Guardrails around the corners and everything else. But we started climbing. I didn't really pay attention to the altitude. I don't know how high the pass was. It wasn't super high. 3,000 feet, 4,000 feet, maybe. Just real fun, especially as you get close to the top and it gets twistier and everything. Got to the top, big scenic pull out, fog. I mean, there's nothing to see. It's just you're in the clouds, so your visor's getting wet. It got down to probably 50 degrees. Sarah wasn't liking the cold. She had her heated vest running full blast. She had her heated grips running full blast. She was bundled up like the little brother on A Christmas Story. I mean, she doesn't like being cold. And then we did the downside of it, which is not a whole lot of twisties, and it just takes off and eventually drops you out on Highway 200, I think, near a little town called Thompson Falls. And we stopped in there at a gas station that had pretty good food, chicken strips and stuff, corn dogs, like a little deli type thing. Apparently it was a popular place. I mean, we saw some Yamaha Tenerays pull in. There were some GSs that went by. I mean, quite a few other bikes. There was a huge, I think 21 bikes of trikes, Can-Am Spiders, Honda Goldwing trikes, Harley trikes, just all kinds of stuff. Most of the folks looked like they were retired. A big group from all over, and they were just traveling for a week, going up to Glacier National Park and having a good time. Visited with them. That was kind of cool. Had two guys on cruisers pull up, park next to us. Kind of the wannabe biker look guys. really nice. They actually had been to Glacier, and we told them we were heading that way, and they whip out their pocket and they've got the little paper receipt showing like a 3-day pass, and they give us these 3-day passes. They're like $30 each, but those are not the reservation permits that you have to get if you want to go in, but after 6 a.m. and before 3 p.m. I think all they are is just like a regular pass that you would pay to get into any park. And we've already got the annual passes, so I don't know that we would need those. But it's kind of cool that they were like, here, you can use our passes. They're still good for another 3 days. Save your $30 or whatever. And after that, we hopped on 200 and then just started running north. Um, got to, I want to say, Highway 56 and turned right. And then 56 ran up to US 2. And then we turned kind of southeasterly towards a town called Libby. And there's a river running through there. I don't know what it is. And then there was the Kunikai Fall, something. I can't even remember how it's spelled now. But real cool waterfalls. So we stopped there. Wore out my hips and knees hiking down to, they have what they call the swinging bridge, which is a cable bridge across with wood planks. And it's pretty high over the water. Sarah actually went across it, stayed out there, got a picture of her, so it actually happened. The hike down was pretty steep. We had to cross a set of railroad tracks, and they had like one of those covered walkways like you see going over a highway or something for people to walk across the highway. And when you get on the other side of the railroad tracks, there was quite a few flights of stairs and landings to get down to the trail. And then you still had to hike the trail, which was another, I don't know, half mile. Pretty rough, so you really had to watch your footing, big rocks, tree roots everywhere. And then the bridge was really cool, and the wind was ripping up that river valley, so it was swaying the bridge. And if you walked left, right, the whole entire bridge would start swaying really fast, pretty good. If you walked right down the center, one foot in front of the other, like a tightrope walker, you could keep it from swinging. But then if anybody else got on the bridge, like, certain people, it would start swinging pretty good. And got across to the other side. And of course, we're geeking out about the metal construction and the size of the bolts and the concrete and all that kind of stuff. And also the scenery, because it was really cool scenery, and you could see back up the river and see a lot of the falls and stuff. And then we had to hike back up, in full gear. Had to take my jacket off. Did have my CamelBak with me, so that was nice. Even had part of a bottle of Gatorade, so I got to finish that off. And then once we finally got back to the top and I could see straight again, we got some ice cream, waffle cone, hand-dipped ice cream that was really good. And called into town, which is Libby, and found a hotel called Venture Inn that's apparently a pretty cool place. Got pretty nice restaurant. Got fettuccine alfredo with chicken. It was only $16, but God, it was enough to feed, like, I don't know, 4 people. And I split it with Sarah. We left half of it. I mean, I picked out most of the chicken, but it was really good garlic bread with it. And then I got a milkshake. Yeah, because I only got 1 scoop of ice cream. They got 2, so I got a milkshake. And that was really good, too. They're apparently having a, what do they call it? Carve off. There's a wood carving competition. So when you come into the place, just right out front, there's all these huge, massive wood carvings that people have done with chainsaws. Really amazing, very detailed, very, very amazing. I got tons of pictures of them. You come in the lobby, there's even more. And it turns out they're having like their 7th annual Great Carve Off or something like that. And they have people from all over the world. I'm sitting in the hot tub with a guy from Czechoslovakia, a couple from Germany, a dude from Wales, a dude from Ireland, a couple from Hungary, and a guy from Wisconsin. He was the homeboy. And they do this for a living. They travel around. They go to different events to compete. And they also do pieces while they're here to sell during the event, just like normal sale pieces. But I was looking at one in the lobby, and it was 12 grand. I mean, it's amazing. It's this Indian medicine man, got like an elk rack hanging off his back or something, got a big staff. I got a picture of it. It's really amazing. Some of the eagles that people have done, just super detailed. And all the dudes in the hot tub were carvers. So Dana and I were sitting there visiting with them, talking about, how you get into a business, how you learn the business, how you grow the business, what it takes to be successful in a business, how to starve and go hungry for a while until you get your business off the ground, and, use that to motivate you so you are successful. How you treat clients, just all those things that make you successful, and the biggest thing is hard work. No shortcuts, just got to get it done. So that was kind of cool. And these guys were from all different walks of life. One was an engineer, one was a carpenter, one was a welding fabricator. Another dude came out of the Army. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. Just what got you into wood carving? Kind of interesting, and specifically chainsaw carving, not just wood carving. I asked one of the guys about that, and he said that as you get better, you use fewer and fewer tools, and you do more and more of the work with the chainsaw, including the real detailed stuff. And so that's kind of cool. So they're all here, like, 3-4 days early before the event starts, just so they can hang out, meet each other, talk to each other, talk shop, have fun. Apparently this is kind of more of a fun event. They have some events that they go to where apparently it gets kind of cutthroat and people get real short with each other. I don't know. The guys are like, yeah, once they go to an event like that, they don't tend to go back. They don't like those kind of events. They prefer the more collaborative type events where you're meeting people and sharing and learning and, things like that, not treating everybody as a potential enemy. So that was kind of cool, because that I have found in my experience with work applies. I mean, I've got competitors too that do what I do, and sometimes I get calls from them and they ask questions, or sometimes I call them and ask questions, and we help each other out. And sure, they're not really taking business from me, because most of our clients have people they prefer to use no matter what. But I'm not losing business to them, and helping them grow helps me grow. So win-win. So that's kind of cool. The riding today, though, was just another great day of riding. It was all pavement. It did warm up as we got closer to Libby and got to the waterfalls. Of course, it got hot. 50 degrees would have been nice when we were going down to the waterfall and back. But it was still fun. And got into town, had that real good dinner, and then went outside and sat out front and watched some just amazing cloud formations coming up over the mountains. Had some weather moving in. I think it's supposed to be nice as we move north. When I got out of the hot tub, there was an older couple that came in, and they were getting in the pool, and they were in their 80s, and they've lived here for 41 years. And the guy was like an RV parts salesman, repairman, just ran an RV business. So he knows every road everywhere around here. And he was telling me about, I think it's the Yak River Road. You go up and over the mountain. It's paved, so it's nice. And you go all the way up to the Yak Tavern, and then there's a road that turns to the right and kind of runs east just under the Canadian border. And I want to say Denny on the forum Human Race, he wrote it, because I could swear he was posting pictures of it when he was on his trip earlier this summer. And I don't remember him saying it was bad. It's supposed to be pretty easy. So this guy was telling me that all the county roads out here are all well maintained, all well graded, easy roads. You drive a car on them. So we're probably going to do that tomorrow, head up that direction north. And there's a big reservoir up here by the town Eureka, just below the Canadian border. It's like a long, skinny reservoir that runs north to south. And I think one side of it, the west side of it, is gravel or dirt all the way down. And then and actually he said it was paved, and most of it was paved. It's just not as good a pavement as the east side, which is a major highway that runs all the way up to Eureka. So we may try to do that loop, get to Eureka, figure out what we want to do about going into Glacier. Whether originally I thought about going in on the northwest side on a back entrance, but we may just go ahead and go down to Kalispell in that area and come in from the southwest like a lot of people do, and try to do the go into the Sky Highway. And I don't know, maybe go up to the mini glaciers area, see what we can see, and then come back down around the south side of the park and start working our way back down towards Butte, Missoula, all that, and eventually start heading towards Wyoming, because we've actually done already quite a bit of Montana. You know, the last 3-4 days we've been zigzagging back and forth across the Bitterroot Range, which is the border between Montana and Idaho, and it's just really, really amazing scenery. You know, beautiful forests and really cool mountains and rivers everywhere. Just not a lot of people up here that live. You know, the towns are small, sparsely populated, but the roads are nice. So anyway, good day riding. Had a good time. We'll let you know more tomorrow at the end of the day. Bye.